Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm back. Videos haven't been as regular, apologies for that. The last sort of like roundup I did for you was in the first week of May. So I'm here to do what I've watched for the rest of May. So we're going to get 3 weeks worth here. I will bang through them as fast as I can. I want to get another couple of videos done today when I get a chance. So without further ado, let's get into what I watched from week 2 to week 4 of May. Okay, so I'm not going to talk any length about this one. I've done a review about it on my channel on one of the sort of like after cinema thoughts. I love this. Completely spoke to my inner child. I know a lot of people aren't loving it. Some people are really connecting with it. I actually honestly feel you get more from this as an adult than a child. And the older of an adult you are, that sort of like reconnect with your inner child, that I think actually honestly the older you get you start to do more. There's just some really sweet bits in this movie. I wouldn't say it should be a you. There are some themes that are quite heavy in it for very young children. I thought everyone in it was fantastic, was really good, so thumbs up for me for if. So on the 14th of May I watched The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. You can see there I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Now, this is a Guy Ritchie movie. I am not a fan of Guy Ritchie movies. I've heard him called the British Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino. I don't really like Guy Ritchie, so But now you're going to say, Lisa, Henry Cavill was in it, that's why you watched it. And yes, you would be correct. That's why I watched it, but I did actually really enjoy this. It tells the true story of a group of soldiers. World War II? Yes. Army assigns a group of competent soldiers to carry out a mission against the Nazi forces. Everyone's done a review on this. I'm sure all of you know what it's about. From a perspective of someone that's not a fan of Guy Ritchie, that doesn't really go in for this kind of movie, this was actually really decent. Sometimes it takes me being convinced to watch a film, and in this, Henry Cavill was in it, so I watched it. Oh, how vapid and shallow of a person am I, and I really enjoyed it. What can you do? It's Henry Cavill, folks. Jesus. So on the 17th, I watched The Last Stop in Yuma County. This is a really good little movie. As a matter of fact, no, I'm going to give that a 3.5 out of 5. So, never bring a knife salesman to a gunfight. This is set out in the middle of nowhere while waiting the next fuel truck at the middle of nowhere. I didn't even read that. Middle of nowhere, Arizona rest stop. A travelling young knife salesman is thrust into a high-stakes hostage situation by the arrival of 2 similarly stranded bank robbers with no qualms about using cruelty or cold hard steel to protect their blood-stained ill-gotten fortune. So these guys have basically just robbed a bank. They stop at this place for fuel. The knife salesman's there for fuel. We follow also the waitress that's there. The waitress's husband is the local sheriff, and everything is in this. There's a few clips that aren't in this actual rest stop. Most of it is. I like the fact I feel we got to know all the characters. It's not completely, oh, like it's just going to be an action movie. There's going to be people getting shot. There's going to be all this stuff. It takes a long time to get to anything really action filled happening. I'm a fan of that. I like things set up. I like to actually have an emotion about the characters. Do I like this person? Do I not? What do I want to happen? I thought it was a really good little movie. I really enjoyed it. So that's a 3.5 out of 5 for Last Stop in Yuma County. The Garfield movie, I'm not even going to open that up. You can see it's got a 1 out of 5. I've reviewed that on the channel. I love Garfield, the original 80s comic strip, and the cartoon, and this movie has nothing from either of those, so let's just skip over that. Sting, right. It's so unfortunate for this movie that it came out at a similar time to Infested, I think it was called, the French movie about the spiders in the tower block. This is a similar kind of concept, but we don't have spiders. We have a giant spider called Sting, who is owned by a girl called Charlotte. I wonder where they got that name. Who is probably one of the most petulant, annoying children I've seen in anything lately, other than The Boy and Eric, the series in Netflix. He irritated me too. So, this girl has this spider. She's feeding it. It's poisonous. It's dangerous. She's not aware of that. Obviously, it gets out. All hell breaks loose. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. I watched it all. I didn't feel the need to switch it off. But like I say, it's just a shame it came out at the same time as something that was much, much better. It didn't make me feel squeamy, it didn't make me feel itchy, it didn't make me feel any of those things that something about spiders should make you feel. So, if you're going to watch a spider movie, go for Infested, not Sting. The Coffee Table. I've been desperate to see this. I actually had to subscribe to Sky to see this because so many people were talking about it, and it's the only way I could see it. So this is a Spanish movie following a couple, Jesus and Maria. Obviously it's Spanish. They buy a coffee table. She is the very overbearing, demanding, everything has to be my way. He is very much the henpecked husband, but he puts his foot down about this coffee table. It's really hideous, ugly glass thing with the legs are like two women, I think, doing this, holding the table up, to like nude brass women. It's horrible. Anyway, he decides, I get to choose nothing, you choose everything, I'm having this coffee table. So that's how the movie starts. I can't tell you anything more than that. A lot of people are talking about how disturbing this is. I didn't find it as disturbing as I expected to. I'm obviously telling you next to nothing, but I can't without spoiling the movie. This is a drama horror. The horror is quite light. What happens is really horrific, let me say, but you don't see anything of what happened. There's no sort of gross imagery. It's just an idea of what's happened is sort of planted in your mind, which is a little bit disturbing. I didn't really find it difficult to sort of deal with. I don't know what that says about me, but the acting was fantastic all around here. It is slow, it is a drama. If you're a horror fan, it's well worth watching if you've got patience. If you want to see loads of disturbing imagery, then perhaps give it a miss. But it was decent. I will say the acting was very, very good. The Coffee Table. La Mesa de Comedor. Love Lies Bleeding. Again, I've been hearing so much about this. Okay, so this is Kristen Stewart. I get Kirsten Dunst and Kristen Stewart, that first name. And Casey O'Brien, Ed Harris, Dave Franco. So this follows, what is her name in this? Lou. Okay, that's easier than Kristen. Let's go with that. So Kristen plays Lou. She is a gym manager. She is a lesbian. A very attractive woman called Jackie appears on the scene. She is a bodybuilder. The actress that actually plays this role is also a bodybuilder. Fantastic, you know, really, really muscular. She's training for a bodybuilding competition. She comes into Lou's gym and the two of them connect, and I'm sure you can imagine from there what happens. Kristen Stewart in this is gorgeous. I don't know what it is about women that sort of have that slight masculine edge. It was the same with Gina Gershon in Bound, and it's Kristen Stewart in this. Oh, I don't know what it is. I can't explain to you, but there's an awful lot more to it than their relationship, which is central at the beginning of the movie. As it says, their love ignites violence, pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. Lou's dad has got a history, is still doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. Jackie gets embroiled in this. Jackie works for Lou's dad. She doesn't know it's Lou's dad at the start of the movie. It's just a small town. And a lot happens. It's a pretty decent movie. I did really enjoy it. It's not one to watch in front of your parents. It's not one to watch if you're embarrassed about sex scenes, because there are a couple that are a little bit intense in there. But it is a good movie. 3.5 out of 5 for me for that. Okay, Christie. The hell's that? I'm not even remembering what this is, guys. I have to open it up and see. Oh god, yeah. Right, I watched this because Hayley Bennett was in it. Obviously, Cyrano, the Peter Dinklage version with Hayley Bennett, is a movie I really enjoy. This is a horror movie with quite a while, 2014, so it's 10 years old. When a college girl who's alone on campus over the Thanksgiving break is targeted by a group of outcasts, she must conquer her deepest fears to outwit them and fight back. Okay, I've given this a 2 out of 5. I got ridiculously distracted all the way through this. This felt like a generic horror by numbers of teens, but I just wanted to show you other people because maybe it was my distraction. So here's people on my friends list on Letterboxd and what they thought. So there's quite a few 3.5 out of 5, 3. There's a 4, a 2.5. So most people there have rated it a little bit higher than me. So in the interest of fairness, I wanted to make that clear. I did like how this movie ended. I just felt that it needed a little bit more oomph in the middle. It needed to push the boundaries a little bit further. It felt too... It just didn't feel far enough to be a horror for me. Maybe it would be good as an entry horror for teenagers, but it wasn't for me. The Contestant. Okay, this is a documentary. I can't remember it. I think this might be on Prime. So this is a true story. This is a reality TV show where this poor guy, so the incredible true story of a man who lived for 15 months trapped inside a small room, naked, starving and alone, and unaware that his life has been broadcast on national TV in Japan to over 15 million viewers a week. And we get to see the footage. It's not like sort of put together as an acted version. We're actually seeing this guy in this room and what happened. He knew he was part of a contest, but he didn't really know what the contest was. They took all of his clothes off him. They basically just left him with pen and paper, loads of competitions and magazines, and he could only eat what he could win. He could only live with what he could win. He had nothing in this room, and it went on for 15 months, guys. It's interesting. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I did enjoy it. You have to like this kind of thing to sort of be into it. It's not the kind of documentary your average documentary watcher will go for unless they're really interested in this type of thing. I find it really interesting. So The Contestant. Yeah. Arthur the King. I'm a sucker for these kind of movies, guys. Now, What's His Face is in it, which is a downside for me. Mark Wahlberg. I don't like Mark Wahlberg. I'm sorry, I just don't. I do think the guy can act, don't get me wrong. We'll ignore The Happening. That was just pants all round. But there's just some things people do that I can't separate the person from and their words from their, anyway, I know what I mean myself. So he is playing, hang on, Michael Light. So this guy is a pro adventure racer, which means you work in teams, you get from one area of the world to another, or country, sorry, to another. It's usually quite difficult. It's usually over all kinds of terrain, and it's the first team to win. This is a true story. This guy is in this group. He needs to sort of win this race to get back his reputation. He's also put his own money into it. I think it's $25,000 to enter. His wife's not aware that he has put up his own money because he can't get a sponsor. And en route, during this race, he encounters this dog and he calls him Arthur. He gives Arthur some food and Arthur follows him from that point on, so that he is part of this team. It's a nice film. It's a really nice film. If you like dogs, you will enjoy it. That's why I watched it. Does the dog die? No. I'm giving that spoiler because anybody that loves dogs as much as me does not want to watch a movie in which the dog dies. The dog does not die, folks. So yeah, I would recommend if you're a dog fan, a Mark Wahlberg fan, or you enjoy sort of like that sort of race kind of competition type movie. Arthur the King. Problemista. Okay, now, Sean, Lost in the Reel, you're going to kill me for this. Now, you can see I gave it a 3 out of 5 there, hopefully. So, I enjoyed it. So, an aspiring toy designer's work visa runs out and a job assisting an erratic art world outcast becomes his only hope to stay in the country and realise his dream. So, Tilda Swinton's in this and she plays a completely just eccentric, zany, horrible... She plays the art world woman that he sort of like falls in with and he works for. So I have to say all of the cast were fantastic. It was very well acted. It was fantastically filmed. It was very unique. It was very stylistic. It had a slight arty edge to it, and I struggle with that. I always have done. I don't tend to like arty-farty movies. It's more than that. It's not just like that. There is a real depth to it. There is a real message to it. I really enjoyed how it ended. I loved how it ended, actually. I thought how it ended was fantastic. So we're following this young guy trying to stay in the country. He works for this company that cryogenically frees people until cures can be found to cure whatever is wrong with them. And he is the cataloger. He keeps everything and catalogues everything for a specific patient. In this case, it's a well-known artist. And the woman that he ends up meeting and working for is the wife of that artist. So there's a lot going on there. I don't really want to tell you anything else about the movie itself. It is quite strange. It's quite surreal in places. Like I say, overall, I did enjoy it. It had aspects of, it reminded me of, and people, you're going to hate me even more, Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, that kind of weird undertone that it had that sort of separated it from normality and made it a little bit dreamlike? It sort of had that aspect in it, and I don't enjoy that. It's just not something personally that I like, and that always takes me out of a movie. I don't enjoy surrealistic, arty type stuff. Like, I'm not a fan of Argento and symbolism and imagery and using colours for particular reasons. I just want to be entertained and feel. And I only found myself feeling, other than complete and utter frustration at Tilda Swinton's character. She just irritated the arse off me. I only felt something other than frustration right at the end of the movie. I did feel something, but if you like movies that are that little bit different, that do sort of stretch the imagination a bit, that are very well acted, I would recommend Problemista. But I just struggle a bit with things when they're a bit weird. It's just me, what can I say? Right, so that takes us up to the end of May. Eric. This is a series that is on Netflix at the moment that I've heard quite a few people speak about. Sean from Lost in the Real and Sin from Sin's Corner are the two first people I saw do reviews, and I thought, right, I'm going to watch this. I like what they've said. So this stars Benedict Cumberbatch as a puppeteer with a little bit of a substance abuse issue. He's working like a child's program, kind of the like of Sesame Street, but it's musical, and you know, people operate the puppets. And his son goes missing. There is a problem in the area with children having gone missing in a similar area. There's a lot going on here. Obviously, this follows them trying to find their kid. What's happened? Is he alive? Is he dead? His marriage has fallen apart. He has these substance issues. He has obviously something going on, you know, psychologically. He has a lot of issues. This is set in the 80s, and as it said, a desperate father battles his demons on the vibrant, dangerous and intoxicating streets of 80s New York in a race to bring home his missing son. This is very good. Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic in this. He's the standout. But yeah, I would thoroughly recommend you give this one your time. It is very good. You don't really know where it's going to go. The cast are all fantastic. The acting's implicit. I really like the fact that the casting was spot on for his wife also. They didn't put some like 20-year-old bimbo in the role and try and have us believe that that's the mother of this like a 10-year-old. But yeah, thumbs up for me for Eric. I gave that a 4 out of 5. So thanks to Sin and Sean for your reviews. That brought that one to my attention. And finally, Under the Bridge. So this is also a series that I've been watching, which is why there aren't many movies recently. This, Rena Verk, a 14-year-old girl, went to join friends at a party and never returned home. 7 teenage girls and a boy were accused of the savage murder. So this is set, I think, in Canada, if I remember rightly. Lily Gladstone is massively the standout here. She plays like a police officer. Her father is also, I think he's sheriff of the area. And Riley Keough, I don't know how it's pronounced. She plays a journalist that is from that area, has moved away and come back, and she's writing a book about teenagers in that specific area, which is how she encounters Rena and the other girls. They're at like a home kind of thing. Like, I don't know what you would call it. It's like for kids that aren't living at home. It's like a children's home kind of thing, but they're much older. They're like older teenagers. So this movie basically follows what happened to Rena. This also, might I add, is a true story. What happened to Rena, and we don't really get answers on who is responsible till right at the end of the movie. I do feel, although I did enjoy this, I've given it a 3.5. I thought the performances were fantastic all around, not a weak link. I found it was longer than it needed to be. It should have been, I think it was an 8-part series. You could easily have done this in 4, 6 at a push. I just felt that Riley's character, Riley Keough, how are we pronouncing that? I don't know. We'll call her Riley for my sake. I didn't feel her character was needed. I don't feel it added anything. I feel if anything it detracted. I didn't understand certain motivations that she had. I just don't feel, okay, she was a way to tell the story, I suppose, because these people are having to be interviewed by her to give like a little bit of background. But I just don't but she was in it so much and I don't really feel that it added. And a relationship in this just seemed to be shoehorned in because they wanted to have a love interest. It just did not feel real to me. Although for me, the performances in this, and obviously the fact it's a true crime real story, did hook me in and did make me watch all the parts of this. It's all released now, it has all streamed, so it is fully available to watch. I gave it a 3.5, so yeah, I would recommend that one, although it is a little bit slow. So guys, that's it for me for the month of May. I will be back at some stage to update you with what I've been watching. I may bring this down to once a month, I'm not entirely sure, we shall see. As I say, life's just a little bit busy at the moment. I want to get another video recorded this afternoon if I can, so that at least that's done and I've got some content going forward. But thanks for your patience and thank you for watching, and let me know below in the comments anything you think about any of the movies I've mentioned, or if any of them sound good to you that you want to check them out. Thank you for watching guys. Over and out from Lisa Loves.